where the historian fits in to a general production environment. So here we have a diagram which basically shows you a basic production system. At the bottom in blue, we've got the stuff down on the plant floor, so diagnostics, control, visualization, communication, so that's things like InTouch, your PLCs, I/O servers. And then above that, we have our production-focused systems, and above that, the ERP environment. Now, it's very important that we get data from our plant up to our business systems in order to enhance our process. And the best way of doing that is to collect your data from the plant floor and use it then for analysing your system. And within the Wonderware software suite, we have our Wonderware Historian. Now, this sits just above your lower systems, your diagnostics, your control, your HMIs, your SCADA systems, etc., collects the data and then makes it available to the business systems. So what does the Wonderware Historian do? Well, effectively, it bridges the gap between the real-time, high-volume plant monitoring and control environment, which is our PLCs, our SCADAs, etc., and gives that data up to the business information environment. And it does this by acquiring the plant data. Now, to acquire the plant data, it can use a variety of mechanisms, but these are mainly the high-speed Wonderware I/O servers and DAS servers. This gives us connectivity to hundreds of devices. Now, one of the things that sets the historian apart from other plant historians is that when it gets that data, it compresses the data before it stores it. That allows us to keep online a vast amount of data, far more than a standard database would allow us to do. Now, because the historian is tightly coupled with Microsoft SQL Server, then it can make the data available to any tool that is capable of executing an SQL request. So immediately the data is available to a whole variety of mechanisms. In addition to storing the plant data, it also contains event summary configuration data and security backup and system monitoring information. Now, it's all about the data. The whole point of the historian is to collect the data from the plant floor at high speed and make it available. And process data is any type of information that is relevant to the successful execution of a process. So when we're looking at process data, we're really talking about real-time data, historical data, and summary data, in addition to that, event and configuration. So if you need to know what the temperature of the vessel is currently, you can look at your real-time data. If you want to know what it was last Monday, you can look at the historical data. If you want to know the average temperature of the system over the last week, then you can look at the summary data. So who needs this? Well, that's easy. Everybody needs it. Anyone who's got plant data available and needs to be able to analyze that data, then you need the historian. And why are we interested in the data? Well, there's a variety of reasons, but the overall driver is to improve the performance and quality of our process. It's used in a whole different variety of ways. Process analysis. One of the very strong uses of it is predictive and preventative maintenance and quality control. It's also used extensively for health and safety and environmental monitoring. Production reporting is, again, one that's used extensively. Production reporting is things like how much did we produce this shift, this day, last week. Failure analysis, why did that pump fail, and so on. And you can get all of this from the data, provided you are collecting it. So, the Wonderware Historian is actually a fully configured Microsoft SQL Server database application enhanced for the plant environment. The diagram shows you where it fits into a basic structure, basic architecture, and it's a high-speed. It features a high-speed data acquisition and storage system, which is 100 times faster than standard relational databases. Now, a historian is no good unless it can get the data quickly, and because plant data changes very quickly every 200 milliseconds or faster, then we need to be able to get it quickly, and with the Wonderware connectivity, we can actually get that data quickly. We've also got built-in functionality that makes information retrieval fast and easy, because it's absolutely no use if you're collecting data if it's difficult to get that data out. So using the client tools, we can actually get data out with a point-and-click mechanism. And finally, we've got high availability. In a lot of environments, these systems are critical and we can't afford to lose the data connectivity to the plant. And because of that, there are inbuilt high availability functionalities within the Historian. Now, I'm only going to mention those briefly during the course of this presentation. Now, in addition to collecting data from the plant floor, there is other data in a production environment that is associated with the process, but may not be available from the plant itself. This is things like quality control data, laboratory information systems, and so on. Now, with something like quality control, it could be that the data pertaining to a batch is not made available until many hours or days after the batch is finished. But in order to get all of your data in one place for absolutely good analysis, then you can insert data into the Historian. Now, once the data has been inserted, it's made available to all the client tools in exactly the same way as the real-time data. We can also bring in data via various mechanisms from other Historian systems and other SCADA environments. So you can benefit from the investment you've made in previous systems. The high availability, if you need to protect your data acquisition, then we have two mechanisms. We have a software mechanism and a hardware mechanism. The software mechanisms are point-and-click configuration within the Historian, and these are comprised of I/O failover, in-SQL data acquisition failover, and in-SQL Server store and forward. The store and forward is a very commonly used one. This allows you to put the data acquisition component on a second PC, and in the event of the in-SQL Server failing, it will keep the data locally and forward it to the Historian when the Historian becomes available again. The hardware solutions are the failover cluster support in Enterprise Edition of Historian, and using hardware such as Stratus to give you fault-tolerant environments. The Historian is also ready to support regulated industries such as pharmaceuticals, and it has inbuilt within it an audit trail mechanism that allows you to monitor and log changes made to both the configuration and for data that has been inserted into the system. And I'll be showing you that very briefly. So the Historian sits there and collects the data, but that's absolutely no use until we can get that data out and turn it into useful and meaningful information. And to do that, we need to analyze our process using the Wonderware Active Factory tools. Now, the Active Factory tools provide a point-and-click environment onto the Historian data, and they come in 4 types. We have the desktop tools, which are Trend and Query, which I'll be showing you. We have 2 add-ins to Microsoft Office, which is Workbook and Report. I'll be showing you Workbook. We have ActiveX controls, iTrend and iQuery, which are the Trend and the Query programs that you can drop into an ActiveX container. And then finally, we have the reporting website. The reporting website is part of the Wonderware information server, and I won't be showing you that today. Right, that's enough